The alien took one look at the human pet and nearly had a heart attack. Part 1. First Contact. Jin-Ho straightened his environment suit as he stepped out of the landing pod onto Earth's surface. His 4 eyes blinked rapidly, adjusting to the bright sunlight. As the chief veterinary officer of the Nexus Federation's diplomatic mission, he had studied Earth's fauna extensively through data feeds, but nothing had prepared him for seeing these creatures in person. The human greeting party waited at the designated meeting point. Jin-Ho's translator hummed as it processed their speech. His assignment was simple: assess Earth's domesticated species and determine if they posed any risk to galactic peace. "Welcome to the Seoul Wildlife Sanctuary," said a young human female, stepping forward. "I'm Hannah, the head rehabilitator here." Jin-Ho bobbed his head in the traditional greeting of his species. "Thank you for hosting me. I look forward to observing your companion animals." Hannah smiled. "Follow me. I'd like to show you something special first." They walked through the sanctuary, passing enclosures that housed various Earth species. Jin-Ho noted each one in his data pad, though his hand shook slightly as he realized how many of them had sharp teeth and claws. "Here we are," Hannah announced, stopping at a large enclosure. "This is my personal companion, Da." Jin-Ho looked up from his pad and froze. His 4 hearts nearly stopped beating. Inside the enclosure, stretched out in the sun, was the largest land predator he had ever seen. The Siberian tiger's orange and black striped coat gleamed as it lifted its massive head to look at them. Its muscles rippled as it stood up, easily weighing over 600 pounds. You keep this as a companion." Jin-Ho's voice quivered. Hannah opened the enclosure gate and stepped inside. Jin-Ho's danger sensors went wild, but he couldn't look away. The massive cat padded over to Hannah and rubbed its head against her side, purring louder than a small spacecraft engine. "Day was rescued as a cub," Hannah explained, scratching behind the tiger's ears. "His mother was killed by poachers. I raised him, and now he helps us teach people about conservation." Jin-Ho's scientific curiosity began to override his fear. "The creature appears affectionate toward you. How is this possible?" "Trust, patience, and understanding," Hannah said. "Would you like to come closer?" Jin-Ho's first instinct was to run back to his ship, but he reminded himself that he was a professional. With trembling steps, he entered the enclosure. Day turned his amber eyes toward the alien visitor. Jin-Ho felt sweat forming under his environment suit as the tiger approached him. But the big cat's body language was relaxed, his movements calm and deliberate. "Hold out your hand," Hannah instructed. "Let him smell you." Jin-Ho extended one shaking hand. Dai sniffed it carefully, then pressed his massive head against it. The alien veterinarian felt the tiger's rough fur under his fingers and the powerful muscles beneath. "Remarkable," Jin-Ho whispered. "On my world, we would never dream of forming such a bond with a predator. Yet here you are, treating it like family," Hannah finished. "That's what companion animals become to us. Family." As if understanding, Dai flopped onto his side, exposing his belly. Hannah laughed and knelt to rub it, while Jin-Ho watched in amazement. He had come to Earth expecting to document potential threats. Instead, he was witnessing something unprecedented in galactic history, a species that had turned apex predators into loving companions. As he made notes on his pad, Jin-Ho realized this was just the beginning of what promised to be a very interesting assignment. "Would you like to see our wolf sanctuary next?" Hannah asked with a grin. Jin-Ho's 4 hearts skipped another beat. It was going to be a long day. The alien took one look at the human pet and nearly had a heart attack. Part 2. Cultural Shock. Jin-Ho sat in his temporary Earth office, his 4 hands trembling as he typed his daily report. After his experience with Hannah's tiger, he thought he had seen the most shocking example of human pet ownership. He was wrong. Today's visits to various human homes had left him both fascinated and terrified. His first stop had been Kita's apartment, where the young man kept several snakes. Jinho had watched in horror as Kita lifted a massive python from its enclosure. "This is Nabby," Kita had said proudly, allowing the snake to wrap around his shoulders. "She's 6 years old and the gentlest creature you'll ever meet." Jinho's translator must have malfunctioned at the word gentle. There was nothing gentle about a creature that could squeeze the life out of its prey. Yet Kita handled the python like it was a precious treasure, even letting it rest its head against his cheek. The next visit had been equally disturbing. Young Mai, a local teacher, owned a Doberman named Mong. The dog's sleek black form and sharp teeth reminded Jinho of the legendary shadow hunters from his homeworld. But instead of attacking, the Doberman spent the entire visit trying to sit in Young Mai's lap like a small puppy. "Mong thinks he's still a baby," Young Mai had laughed, hugging the large dog. "He's my protector and best friend." Jinho added another note to his report. Humans appear to form emotional bonds with creatures that could easily kill them. Further study needed to determine if this is bravery or madness. The final visit of the day had nearly caused all 4 of his hearts to stop. Su Bin, a university student, kept a monitor lizard in her small apartment. The creature, named Buddy, flicked its forked tongue as it watched Jinho from its heated enclosure. "Would you like to see him eat?" Su Bin had asked excitedly. Before Jinho could decline, she had dropped a whole raw chicken into the enclosure. The monitor lizard's powerful jaws made quick work of it, while Su Bin watched with pride, as if watching a child eat their dinner. Now sitting at his desk, Jinho reviewed the footage from his visits. His species had domesticated animals too, but they were all gentle plant eaters, chosen for their docile nature. Humans, it seemed, had looked at the most dangerous creatures on their planet and decided to make them family members. He added an urgent note to his report: "Request immediate consultation with Nexus Federation psychologists. Humans display unprecedented behavior toward predatory species. They not only tolerate these creatures but actively seek their affection. This suggests either remarkable courage or a complete lack of survival instinct." As he finished typing, his communication device chimed. It was Hana, inviting him to visit a place called a pet shop tomorrow. Jinho's heart raced at the thought of what other predators humans might keep as companions. He sent a final addition to his report. "Most concerning observation. Humans seem genuinely puzzled by my fear of their pets. To them, these dangerous creatures are sources of joy and comfort. Further research needed to understand how this relationship evolved. Also requesting additional hazard pay." Jinho closed his eyes, trying to make sense of it all. On his world, building trust with a predator would be considered suicidal. Yet here on Earth, it was not only normal but celebrated. Perhaps most disturbing of all, he found himself becoming curious rather than terrified. He looked at the image of young Mai and her Doberman on his screen. The dog's fierce appearance contrasted sharply with the way it gently licked her face. Something about that image made him wonder if perhaps humans had discovered something the rest of the galaxy had missed. Tomorrow would bring more surprises, he was sure. Jinho checked that his emergency teleporter was working properly, then began preparing for another day of documenting Earth's most baffling cultural practice: turning predators into pets. The alien took one look at the human pet and nearly had a heart attack. Part 3. The Conference. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds filled the circular room, their varied forms creating a living rainbow of colors and shapes. At the center podium stood Jinho, his environment suit polished for this crucial presentation. "Honored council members," Jinho began, his voice steady despite his racing hearts. "My report on Earth's domesticated species requires your immediate attention." The main display activated, showing footage of Hana with her tiger. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Jinho continued with videos of pythons coiling around children's shoulders, wolves playing fetch in backyards, and eagles perching on gloved hands. These humans, he explained, have formed emotional bonds with apex predators. They share their homes with creatures that could kill them in seconds. Representative Sunwoo, Earth's advocate, stood up. As one of the few humans in the chamber, she drew all eyes. What my colleague fails to mention is that these relationships demonstrate humanity's unique ability to form connections across species barriers. Connections, burst out the delegate from Proxima B, their crystalline form flickering with alarm. They've tamed killing machines. Jin-Ho played his final piece of evidence, a montage of human children sleeping peacefully next to large dogs, cats lounging on laps, and rehabilitated predators showing affection to their caretakers. Later that evening, as they sat in Hannah's office, Da the tiger lounged nearby, purring like a massive engine. Jin-Ho found himself relaxing in the predator's presence for the first time. "You know," Hannah said softly, "humans were predators too, once. Maybe that's why we understand them. We learned that being strong doesn't mean you can't be gentle." Jin-Ho thought about his earlier reports to the Federation, filled with warnings and fear. Now he saw something different, a species that had evolved beyond simple survival instincts to form complex emotional bonds with former enemies. As if reading his thoughts, Hannah added, "Every animal here was afraid when they first arrived, but fear can change to trust if you give it a chance." Jin-Ho reached out slowly, touching Da's massive head. The tiger leaned into his hand, accepting him. In that moment, he understood what his previous reports had missed. Humans hadn't tamed these predators. They had formed partnerships with them, built on mutual respect and understanding. That night, writing his daily report, Jin-Ho chose his words carefully. The human's relationship with predators isn't a sign of madness or dominance. It's evidence of their extraordinary capacity for empathy, patience, and trust. Perhaps these are the most powerful traits a species can possess. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Jin-Ho slept peacefully, lulled by the distant sounds of wolves howling at the moon and the soft rumble of days purring from the enclosure below. Part 5. The Incident. Jin-Ho's routine inspection of the sanctuary's life support systems started like any other morning. The facility's sealed environment was necessary to house both Earth creatures and alien visitors safely. He moved through the underground maintenance area, checking readings on his tablet. A warning light flashed on the main oxygen recycler. Jin-Ho frowned, his 4 eyes focusing on the error message. The reading showed dangerous levels of carbon monoxide building up in the sealed chamber. "Hannah," he called into his communicator. "We have a system failure in Section B." Static answered him. The toxic gas was already interfering with communications. Jin-Ho's environmental suit would protect him for a while, but he needed to reach the emergency shoot-off valve. As he moved toward it, his suit's sensors screamed warnings about the rising gas levels. Halfway to the valve, Jin-Ho stumbled. His vision blurred as hair-thin cracks appeared in his suit's visor. The backup oxygen system wasn't responding. He fell to his knees, struggling to breathe. Through dimming vision, he saw the heavy security door burst open. Hannah stood there, her face covered by an emergency mask. Behind her was a massive orange and black form. "Da. Find Jin-Ho," Hannah commanded the tiger. "Bring him out." Day bounded forward, powerful muscles rippling. Jin-Ho felt gentle but strong jaws close around his arm. The tiger began dragging him toward the exit, careful not to puncture his suit. Jin-Ho's consciousness faded in and out. He was vaguely aware of being pulled through corridors, of Hannah's voice giving commands, of Da's steady movement. His last thought before passing out was how strange it felt to trust a predator with his life. He woke in the medical bay, all 4 hearts monitored by beeping machines. Hannah sat beside him, while Da lounged protectively at the foot of his bed. "The tiger," Jin-Ho whispered hoarsely. "He saved me." Hannah smiled. "Da can sense danger better than any of our machines. When he heard your distress call, he broke through 3 security doors to reach you." Jin-Ho reached out a shaking hand. Da moved forward, pressing his massive head against the alien's palm. "I never understood before," Jinho said, "why humans trust these creatures so completely. Now I do." "It's not just about trust," Hana explained. "It's about family. Dai protected you because you're part of our sanctuary family now." Jinho looked at the tiger's intelligent eyes and saw not a mindless predator, but a being capable of choice, loyalty, and sacrifice. His report to the Federation that evening was the shortest he'd ever written. "Today, I learned that courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about trusting despite it. The humans aren't dangerous because they befriend predators. They're remarkable because they see beyond surface differences to the heart beneath. Perhaps that's a lesson our entire galaxy needs to learn." That night, for the first time, Jinho slept in the observation room with Da standing guard nearby. He had come to Earth to study dangerous creatures and found instead a deeper truth about trust, loyalty, and the bonds that transcend species. Part 6. Paradigm Shift. Earth predator Savi's alien diplomat blazed across galactic news networks. Footage of Da's rescue played on repeat, showing the massive tiger dragging Jinho to safety. The story captured the imagination of countless species across the stars. In his temporary office at the Seoul Wildlife Sanctuary, Jinho faced yet another interview request. Since the incident, he had become an unexpected celebrity and Earth's most vocal alien supporter. "Tell us again," the reporter asked, her antenna twitching with excitement. "What went through your mind when you saw the tiger coming for you?" Jinho smiled, remembering the moment. "I had spent months studying Earth's predators. In that moment, I saw everything I had learned come together. Da wasn't just acting on instinct. He made a choice to help." The interview was interrupted by the arrival of Sangmin, Earth's leading xenobiologist. He had been studying the sanctuary's success with interspecies relationships. "Jinho," Sangmin said excitedly, holding up his research tablet, "the data is remarkable. The predators here show higher emotional intelligence when interacting with different species than those in isolated environments." Together, they walked through the sanctuary. In every enclosure, they saw examples of what made Earth unique in the galaxy. A former fighting dog now helped rehabilitate injured puppies. A rescued hawk allowed smaller birds to share its perch. A lioness played gently with her caretakers. "You see," Jinho explained to the following camera crew, "humans didn't conquer these creatures. They proved that trust and respect are stronger than fear. Each animal here made a choice to trust humans back." The story spread across the galaxy, challenging centuries of beliefs about predator species. Other worlds began sending observers to study Earth's methods. They watched in amazement as Hana worked with injured predators, teaching them to trust again. During a Galactic Council update, Jinho presented his findings. "The human's ability to form bonds with predators isn't a sign of madness," he declared. "It's evidence of their extraordinary capacity for empathy. They saw beyond teeth and claws to find intelligence, loyalty, and love." Back at the sanctuary, Jinho watched Hana train a new group of alien veterinarians. Da lounged nearby, occasionally demonstrating perfect behavior for the amazed visitors. The galaxy feared humans because they befriended predators, Jinho wrote in his final report. But perhaps that's exactly why we need them. In a universe divided by fear and mistrust, they show us a better way. That evening, as alien news crews filmed Earth's sunset, Jinho sat with Hana and Dai, watching the stars appear. Somewhere up there, countless species were beginning to see predators and humans in a new light. "Want to help me feed the wolves?" Hana asked with a smile. Jinho stood, no longer afraid. "Lead the way," he replied, following her into a future where ancient fears gave way to new understanding. Part 7. New Horizons. 1 year after the incident that changed galactic history, Jinho stood proudly at the entrance of the new Interspecies Harmony Center. The massive facility, built on the outskirts of Seoul, represented a dream come true. a place where aliens could safely interact with Earth's predators. "Ready for opening day?" Hannah asked, adjusting the universal translator on her collar. Below them stretched dozens of specialized environments, each designed to help different alien species overcome their fear of Earth's predators. "As ready as I'll ever be," Jin-Ho replied, watching their first group of visitors arrive. The aliens moved nervously, their various forms trembling at the distant sound of a wolf's howl. "Remember your first day here?" Hannah smiled, leading the way inside. Jin-Ho certainly did. How could he forget nearly fainting at the sight of Dai? Now the tiger was one of the center's star therapy animals, helping visitors understand that predators could be gentle. Their first session began with a group of crystalline beings from Proxima b. They huddled together, chiming nervously as a small house cat walked into the room. "This is Luna," Hannah explained. "She was rescued from the streets. Now she helps others learn about trust." The aliens watched in amazement as Luna purred, rubbed against Hannah's legs, and played with the toy. Slowly, their crystalline forms stopped trembling. One brave soul even extended a glowing appendage to touch Luna's fur. Throughout the day, Jin-Ho guided different groups through carefully planned interactions. Some worked with trained dogs, others observed rehabilitated hawks. Each success story added to their growing database of interspecies understanding. During the lunch break, Hannah led Jin-Ho to a special enclosure. Inside, a young serval cat sat watching them with golden eyes. The spotted feline had been rescued from illegal traders. "She needs a home," Hannah said softly. "I thought maybe." Jin-Ho felt all four of his hearts skip a beat. Him, adopt an Earth predator. Yet as he looked at the serval, he saw not a dangerous beast but a potential friend. "Her name is Jai-Yun," Hannah continued. "She's gentle, smart, and looking for someone to trust." That evening, after the visitors had left, Jin-Ho sat in his office with Jai-Yun curled up beside his chair. The serval's purring filled the room as he wrote in his personal log. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, not just because we opened the first interspecies harmony center, but because we're finally learning what humans knew all along, that friendship knows no boundaries of species or planet." He reached down to scratch Jai-Yun's ears, marveling at how natural it felt now. Outside his window, he could see Hannah working with Dai in the twilight, their silhouettes a testament to the bond between species. The facility's success spread quickly. Soon, other worlds began requesting their own harmony centers. Jin-Ho and Hannah found themselves training alien handlers, sharing Earth's knowledge about building trust with predators. As night fell over the center, Jin-Ho walked the quiet halls with Jai-Yun at his side. In every enclosure, Earth's predators rested peacefully, ready to help more visitors tomorrow. He thought about how far he'd come from that terrified alien who first arrived on Earth. "Come on, Jai-Yun," he said softly. "Let's go home." And as they left, Jin-Ho realized that Earth's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't just showing how to befriend predators. It was teaching them that sometimes the best way to overcome fear is to open your heart to the very thing that scares you.